It is great to be here in Wisconsin. It's great to be back in the Midwest where folks got good sense. It's great to be with the next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz. I love this guy. Love that dude. Love that man. The kind of person who should be in politics. He's a veteran, he's a teacher, he's a coach, he's a hunter, been a great governor, knows who he is and knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears have gotten some wear. They come from his closet. Consultant didn't give it to him. Tim's got skills. The other day, I found out he can take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again. You think Donald Trump can do that? For that matter, do you think Donald Trump's ever changed a tire in his life? That's the guy, he gets a flat tire. He says, Jeeves, change that tire, please. His chauffeur. Point is, Tim will be an outstanding vice president, but he's only going to be an outstanding vice president if you vote. And that's why you're here today. I'm here to make sure that you hear from me. I am asking you to vote for your congressman, Mark Pocan, for your Senator, Tammy Baldwin, and for the next President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. And I know you've heard it about, 15 times so far today, but it's worth repeating. Here in Wisconsin, early voting starts today. If you haven't voted yet, I won't be offended if you just walk out right now. Go vote. Go do it. Return the absentee ballot. It's fine. Just remember to bring your photo ID if you're voting in person. If you need to register to vote, you can do it at your local clerk's office from now until November 1st, or when you vote on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. And if there's any confusion, if you need to know where your early voting site is or a drop-box location, then go to wisdems.org/vote. Wisdems. Well, they're cheering for wisdems.org/vote. Don't wait. I voted yesterday. I did. I was down in Chicago. I got my ballot, filled it in, sealed it, signed it. And then I walked, which I don't always get a chance to do. And Secret Service got nervous, but I said, no, let's walk to a mailbox. And my younger staff was like, what's that blue thing? And I said, that's a mailbox. And you put stuff in it, and then it goes to the place you're sending it. They weren't familiar with mailboxes. Once you voted, then you have to help your friends and family make a plan to vote too. Because together we've got a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country and start building a better, stronger, fair, more hopeful America. Now, we know this election is going to be tight. It's going to be tight here in Wisconsin. It's going to be tight all across the country. And it's going to be tight because a lot of Americans are still struggling. You know, as a country, we've been through a lot over the last few years. We forget sometimes. A historic pandemic wreaked havoc on communities, on families, on businesses. And then disruptions from the pandemic caused price hikes. It put a strain on family budgets. And people started feeling like no matter how hard they worked, they were just treading water. So I understand why folks are looking to shake things up. I get it. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that's good for you. That I do not understand. Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. I've said it before. Donald Trump is a 78-year-old billionaire who hasn't stopped whining about his problems since he came down that golden escalator 9 years ago. And when he's complaining 2, 3 in the morning. He's texting. What's he doing? When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. Have you noticed that? Who does that? You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000 watch. Supposed to be Swiss watch, he says. The best watch. Why are you selling the watch? What are you doing? My favorite is the Trump Bible. True story. True story. I mean, it's embossed with his name right on it. Donald Trump edition, right next to Matthew and Luke. Donald. And I'll give you one guess where those Bibles are made. He's Mr. Tough Guy on China, except when it comes to making a few bucks. You cannot make this stuff up. You really can't. If some of this stuff happened on Saturday Night Live, you'd be like, all right, that's going too far. That didn't really happen. But it did. And he's doing it because what he cares about is his ego and his money and his status. He's not thinking about you. He sees power. He sees you as a means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut. It would mostly help him and his country club buddies. He doesn't care if he costs more women their reproductive freedoms because apparently it doesn't affect his life. Most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them. Now, for him, us means the, quote, real Americans who support him. Anybody who doesn't, they're them. And he employs this strategy like politicians have for millennia, because having people divided and angry boosts his chances of being elected. That's his focus. Is this going to help me, not is it going to help you? And along with those intentions, there's also, as Tim talked about, there are questions about his competence. I mean, he's out there giving 2-hour speeches. It's like Fidel Castro just keeps on talking. It's just word salads. The other day he had a town hall meeting. Now, I've done my share of town hall meetings. My experience is the goal of the town hall meeting is you meet with your constituents, with citizens, with voters. You answer their questions. He decided, no, I'm not going to answer questions anymore. Let's just play music for half an hour. So he's standing there and he's swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA. And you know, the governor from South Dakota, she's standing there with this weird look on her face like she doesn't really know what's going on. She's like, it's like a hostage video. Can you imagine if Tim did that, or Kamala did that, or I did that? Now, our playlist would be better. But you would say to yourself, this is odd behavior. He called himself the father of IVF. No, I have no idea what that means. You don't either. He said January 6th was a day of love. you're going to hear this from me. Do not boo. Vote. They can't hear you boo. They can hear your vote. That's the way to send a message. So, look, my point is, you'd be worried if Grandpa was acting like this. Right? You'd call up your brother, you'd call up your cousins, you say, have you noticed? But this is coming from somebody who wants unchecked power. So, Wisconsin, we do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America's ready to turn the page. We are ready for a better story, Wisconsin. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris. And the good news is Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a leader who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and need a champion. Somebody who was raised in a middle-class family, who actually worked at McDonald's when she was in college to pay her expenses, didn't just pretend like he worked at McDonald's when it was closed.